Yes, welcome back to Shameless Football by yours truly, Henry Wright and Spurs Talk Show, aka Sean Butler. Make sure you do drop a like on the video straight away. It helps the channel out, and we are slowly approaching 2K subs. Sean, how's things, mate? You all good?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Until I saw this article that's dropped today. A little bit terrifying for the Premier League. And I think it also, if it's true, there's a lot of massive ifs and buts, but if it is true, it might just set in stage a little bit of a domino effect for a lot of the big teams that are out there that are looking for that number 9. And if Liverpool get this particular player, then it will mean that one of the other big ones don't get the guy that we're about to talk about, and it's just going to be a little bit of chaos. So, thought we'd do a video on it, mate. But I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. Well, until we saw this news, like on this news, this could be the biggest football transfer, not in terms of value, but in terms of a player moving around to another club. Like we're talking about, as you can tell by the thumbnail, Kylian MBAPPE. Now, before we get into the actual report, the shortage of number 9s across Europe and the shortage of goal scorers, I think, is at an all-time low. And if you think back to 20 odd years ago, you had like probably 10 or 15 number 9s in the world that you get you 15, 20, 30 goals a season. And now we're sitting here, other than the likes of actual number 9s, it's Erling Haaland and Harry Kane, right? They're the two have been doing it for 2 or 3 years. And then you look at the wingers that can do it, Salah, Mbappe.
There's a plethora of wingers. Every team has got a winger that can run at players, but the difference between a £20 million winger and a £100 million player is what they can do for the rest of the game, for the rest of the team, whether they can look up and find the pass and make it happen. But in terms of out and out number 9s, ever since the typical formation pivoted to a front three, because it used to be like a 4-4-2, and there was always, I mean, look at Tottenham, we used to have 4 centre forwards.
It's the Dutch. The Dutch have ruined it. They went to the 4-3-3.
Yeah.
You know, when they had Robin and Snyder and that, and it's just kind of ruined it, hasn't it?
Well, it's ruined it. It's just changed it. And of course, like if you're now looking as a forward, then to be the central guy, the 9 who can score you goals, guarantee you goals, but also come back and be part of the build-up play. There's just been a dearth in availability of those sorts of talents. You're right. You're absolutely right. Haaland and Kane are the sort of top 2 in that regard. There's a few others that are knocking about. And this particular player is obviously one of the most sought after players in the world because of his physical attributes and his goal scoring record. But until today, it was pretty much laid on for most people's mind that he was going to go in a certain direction. And that club, Real Madrid, need a number 9. And look, it's just an article, but it's getting some spread. It's getting some, the aggregators are taking hold of it. Who knows whether it's true or not? But if it is true that Liverpool might be able to gazump Real Madrid, then Real Madrid are going to have to look in a different direction. And then it creates this snowball effect of other teams that were presuming that the biggest name, the biggest brand in football, when they come calling for any player, they usually get their guy. And it might still, be the case with this one. But if it's not, then it kind of upsets the apple cart for about 6 or 7 clubs that are all looking for another number 9 within the next year.
Do you think this is because, we know Saudi clubs, there was a few that were after Salah, and there was a record bid of 250 million euros or whatever it was, 250 million pounds. Do you think Liverpool, if another bid comes in for, I mean, there's the article there. Do you think if Liverpool were to come in at 250 million pounds, because think of a free transfer, right? This will be the biggest free transfer ever. We're talking about top 3 players in the world right now. You're talking about an absolute world-class, generational talent, 2 goals in a World Cup final, already won a World Cup, on track to be France's all-time top goal scorer, already won 10 or 12 trophies, whatever it is. He's 24. This will be the biggest transfer of the summer. Everyone's going to be looking at this saying, where is he going to go? The only way I think Liverpool if Liverpool do sign Kylian Mbappe, that would be purely down to the fact that Salah goes to there's a video playing the bottom right corner. There we go. Salah goes to Liverpool. I think that, you know, can you see Liverpool? The thing is,
I can see Salah. I think that's the thing, right? I can see Salah moving to Saudi Arabia. Think about his culture, his heritage, the fact
he's
that
he's the biggest
Muslim football player,
the biggest Muslim football player of all time.
Of all time, and certainly alive today. He is the greatest. He would be the greatest purchase acquisition for Saudi Arabian football, bigger than Cristiano Ronaldo, in my opinion, given the kind of the relevance of the locality, the geography, the demographic that you're trying to appeal to. And I think that might happen. And I think Liverpool, you know, their owners are not necessarily the sorts of owners that are just going to sort of spray cash around willy-nilly like other clubs do. And to me, I can actually see that thing materializing, and it would make absolute sense if Liverpool were to take that money and use it to fund and purchase.
The reason why I can't see it happening, mate, the reason why is they'd have to completely restructure their wage bill. Kylian MBAPPE is on more than Nunez, Salah, and Diego Jota combined. There was a report come out. Sorry?
How much does he earn a week?
Close to €1 million a week, according to L'Equipe.
Right.
So that's with all his bonuses. Plus, he's got some sort of director of football role. Liverpool would have to give him an enormous signing on bonus for a free transfer. I'm talking 30, 40 million euro.
Wouldn't it be the same, though, for Real Madrid? Well, let's be honest, right? Like,
but Real Madrid,
any club that's going to take this guy away from PSG is going to have to restructure their entire financial application to make this guy make sense. And PSG,
Real Madrid have got history, though. They've got a history for doing huge signings. Di Maria, Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, Jude Bellingham. They've just given Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo within the last 2 days record-breaking contracts for players of their age. They've got history for going out there. You know, the Galacticos, Zinedine Zidane, Carlos, Beckham. Liverpool's record transfer signing are Alisson and Van Dijk, other than Darwin Núñez. Real Madrid have gone out there year after year. They've always been a football club that has the greatest players in the world, right? You look at the team they had of Ronaldo, Bale, and Benzema, Modric, Casemiro, and Toni Kroos, who's on his way to Spurs. Make sure you check out both those videos. But I think if Liverpool are going to do this, they've got to put a groundbreaking amount of money up front.
Are the owners capable of doing it? FSG, do they have the? I don't think that they do have the historical pedigree that they're willing to really splash additional sums. A lot of the Liverpool fans that have seen a little bit of a kind of like a step back from what they were doing 2 years ago, 3 seasons ago, whenever it was when they came close to getting the treble, they suddenly turned on FSG. Not the entire fan base, but an element of it turned on them because they felt like they weren't doing enough to compete and stay strong alongside Manchester City, and they were seeing Arsenal spending more money. FSG don't seem to want to spend too much of their own money, a little bit like Daniel Levy. They want the club to be self-sustainable, but for all intents and purposes, I've heard that they're trying to restructure their kind of their salary cap or their wage structure. For this particular guy, though, it would require, there's no bones about it. The only way this happens, if the story's true, is if you see the back of Mo Salah. Is that right? Do you agree?
Yeah, I think you're bang on the money. The only 2 football clubs in the league I can see signing Kylian MBAPPE is Manchester United and Arsenal. I don't think City are very, very clever with transfers. They're probably the best run football club in Europe when it comes to buying players.
Manchester United haven't got the money, mate.
I know they haven't, but
unless they get bought out unless the whole Sheikh Jassim thing comes back on the table, then maybe they'll come in and do something crazy.
But they're stupid, mate. The amount of money they put forward, they're stupid.
Yeah, but I don't think they can anymore.
I think Arsenal can. He's apparently, there's been various reports that he's a big Thierry Henry fan.
Where would Arsenal, would you put Kylian Mbappe straight up the top? Like Martinelli, Saka, Mbappe?
You put Martinelli, Saka, and Kylian Mbappe, they win the Champions League. Simple as that.
Yeah.
They win the Champions League. You put Kylian Mbappe in a Tottenham team, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but this is shameless. You put Kylian Mbappe in the Tottenham team, we win the Premier League. He'd get us 30 goals a season. With Son out on the left, Kylian Mbappe running through with pure pace. We're talking about, imagine Adama Traore's pace on someone that can play football. That is what Kylian Mbappe is. Who's elite.
It's too late in the evening for me to be getting a semi. Can't be doing that.
No, but
it's never going to happen for Tottenham. It's never going to happen for Tottenham. It's never going to happen for 99% of football clubs out there. You're saying no to Manchester City. I'm saying Manchester United. The only chance of that has to happen is Chelsea? If this guy Todd Bowley and his consortium seem to be willing to throw money at the problem.
They want to do 500 million in the next 2 windows as well.
Yeah, maybe this video should have been Liverpool and Chelsea fight it out, because you could actually envision a scenario where they'll sell a few of their 18-year-old, 19-year-old talents that they've just bought and write that stuff down.
The problem is, mate, that Kylian Mbappe is not going into a club that's not in the Champions League.
He's not Chelsea going to win the Champions League, correct?
Yeah. He's not going to a club that's not close to winning league titles. Everyone questioned him lack of ambition for signing that new contract at PSG. Everyone questioned him. I think you look at Madrid, they've got Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Jude Bellingham, Valverde, Militao. They have got lots of players under the age of 25 that they could build for the next decade. Liverpool, I think, would have the cash if Salah goes, and I think Salah will go next summer.
That's the only way that this story makes sense, is if Salah goes. And I think that the Salah going to Saudi Arabia makes a lot of sense, especially if Liverpool do something special. If they win the Europa League this year and they, somehow manage to win a Premier League, and they're playing well enough to be within the shout, then I think that would be a wonderful sort of send-off for Mo Salah. He could leave, go to Saudi Arabia, fulfill that whole destiny for him. He'd be an absolute hero over there, biggest player in that part of the world. And then I think that there is the money and the opportunity for Kylian Mbappe to come over. What that means, though, for the merry-go-round of number 9s that are out there, let's take a step back for a second. Forget about Mbappe. What other top-level number 9s are out there that are available in all likelihood for transfer next summer? Henry, name them. Name 5 that are top-level number 9s that are available.
Osimhen from Napoli.
Yep.
And that is it. Osimhen, Ivan Toney.
Yeah. When you drop from there, you're starting to look at the players that are scoring lots of goals, right? Santiago Jimenez.
Yeah, the guy at Stuttgart as well. Guirassy.
Serhu Guirassy.
That's it. Martinez is never going to leave Inter Milan, and he can only play in the 2. He's always played in the 2, whether it's against with Lukaku.
Vlahovic.
I don't think he's top level.
He's not. He's definitely on the second tier, isn't he? He's not.
I think Ivan Toney's clear of him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think Ivan Toney he'll want to stay in England. I think he'll go to one of Chelsea or Arsenal. But if Real Madrid don't get Kylian Mbappe, then what do Real Madrid do?
Go and get the guy at Manchester City. Because they will go and get Erling Haaland.
Really?
Yeah, that transfer is set up already. 2026, Erling Haaland will be a Real Madrid player.
Yeah, but that's 3 years away. 2 summers away by next summer. So
I guarantee it. He's already completed club football in England in his first year. He's already won a treble. Go to Madrid, Jude Bellingham. Imagine Jude Bellingham, Mbappe, Haaland. Real Madrid have got that. Perez is a nutcase. Like, Florentino Perez would put enough money into the club to get Mbappe and Haaland. He's done it before. They had Kaká and Ronaldo and Benzema and Di Maria all in the same team, and they still didn't win the Champions League because you need a manager Whoever, the one thing I'll say is, one thing that's not being looked at in the Kylian Mbappe is
Lisandro Martinez. Just quickly before you go on, is Martinez of that level?
Yeah, he is, but he's never leaving Inter Milan. And if he leaves Inter Milan, he has to play in a 2, mate. He's got to play. He's got to play. He's a second striker, so he plays off Djokovic, or he played off Lukaku, or he played off Dzeko. He plays off players. And Mbappe can play anywhere in the front three. The thing that we need to look at that's not being spoken about as much is Kylian Mbappe has a huge, humongous chip on his shoulder, and he walks in with ego. So whatever manager, whether you go to Zinedine Zidane, whether you go to Carlo Ancelotti, whether you go to Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp, they have got to be able to deal with that ego. Pochettino would crumble, and he crumbled at PSG when he had Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar. You need a manager that's got that aura. Unai Emery would crumble. Jurgen Klopp would crumble. You need someone like Zinedine Zidane who can say, hang on, I won a World Cup. I won a Euros. I won a Champions League as a player. I've won 4 Champions Leagues as a manager. You sit down and listen to me. He walks into Chelsea's dressing room. Pochettino's going to say, what? I lost the Champions League final. I've been in a Premier League title race. Do you know what I mean? You need that. Like Alex Ferguson, when David Beckham started getting to the point where he was big as football, he was, I'll see you later. You're going to Madrid. You need a manager that's going to be able to deal with his ego, because he walks in as, I'm a World Cup winner. Why am I listening to you?
Are we to presume? I agree with everything you're saying. Are we to presume, right, the fact that PSG have gone and got Kolo Muani and the fella, is it Ramos from Benfica that they signed?
Gonçalo Ramos, yeah.
Gonçalo, have they already replaced Mbappe?
No.
Presuming that he's going to, not replaced him, but have they already made the move, signing players that are 22, 23 years old, presuming that he's gone? So, like, is there any chance that Mbappe signs another contract extension at PSG? Does that?
No, he's gone.
In the plethora. No, he's gone.
I think he's gone. I can see them going and getting Osimhen.
So PSG get Osimhen, Real Madrid or Liverpool go and get Mbappe, or Chelsea. And then after that, you have essentially Osimhen and
the only way City get Mbappe is if Haaland goes to Madrid. Guardiola can easily cope with that ego. He's done it.
Problem is, mate, there's too many big teams. For any of those things to happen, there are too many big teams looking for too few strikers, right? If Real Madrid get Haaland, then who does City replace Haaland with?
Mbappe.
I thought we'd already agreed that Mbappe was going to Liverpool for the purposes of the argument.
Okay, so Mbappe's going to Liverpool. Haaland goes to Madrid. They'll go and get
Osimhen.
No, he's not a City player. You got to be good on the ball. Osimhen's running in behind, finishing.
Right.
Ivan Toney.
So then who do Arsenal and Chelsea get?
They'll fight it out over Watkins.
And who did Tottenham get?
We got Richarlison, mate.
It's not easy. There's not enough. There isn't enough.
I actually think that
top talent.
I think football in the Premier League is
Adeyemi from Dortmund. Do you go after him? He's more of a winger, but like I think he could re-emerge maybe as a striker. I don't know.
I think we're at a point where the Premier League is a lot more competitive because it's Man City and everyone else. Like, I think the actual attacks in the Premier League are much worse than they were 10 years ago. Because if you look at the 08 season, Man United had Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo, Berbatov, and who was the other guy? Chicharito Hernandez or whatever it was. Now, Man United have Rashford, and that is it. Tottenham have, if you're looking at goals, Heung-min Son, and that is it.
And that's it.
Man City have Haaland, and then everyone else will contribute to 20 goals. Arsenal have Saka and Martinelli. United have, Chelsea have no one. Liverpool have Salah, and then the others will get, say, 10 or 12. Madrid have got, at the moment, Jude Bellingham is basically everything he touches turns to gold. Barcelona have got Lewandowski, then everyone else will chip in. Whereas years ago, there was one. I'll give you an example. Right, Tottenham at one point had Jermaine Defoe, Berbatov, and Robbie Keane in the same squad. They were all bagging 15 to 20 goals in all comps. Right now, we're at a point where wide players are scoring goals. It's not necessarily number nines. So it's about, does a player fit the system rather than his numbers? Jack Grealish has only scored like 12 Man City goals. But Guardiola picks him when he's fit every single week because he draws fouls. He creates so many chances. He can take a player on blindfolded. But the stat merchants go, oh, but, you know, Son's got 8 goals and Grealish has got 2. So Son's better. It's about systems.
Do you know what it is, mate? I hear what you're saying again. I agree with you. It is about systems. It's about continuity. It's about synchronicity. It's chemistry, all that stuff. But I feel like when you have these conversations and you're talking about things that are outside of Tottenham, and you start to think, rack your brains and go, well, who else is there? Then you start to come to the conclusion that players like Jonathan David from Lille are probably like the 5th or 6th most desirable number 9 in European football. And I think that guy is an absolute fraud. I think he's a bum.
Jonathan David, Aston Villa, and Unai Emery are your 3, like, we've got, just to let you all know, we are making a video on Unai Emery.
We do that as well, yeah. But I think Jonathan David is an absolute bum. And yet, when you rack through your brains and go, well, if he goes here, he goes here, he goes there, he goes there, then
would you take Richarlison or Jonathan David?
I would take you over Richarlison. I'll take Jonathan David. But I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to this. Jonathan David is a 20 goal a season striker in the Premier League. I just don't buy it. I think the guy has got a terrible touch. I think his positional astuteness is lacking. I think he doesn't have vision. I think he's a good finisher, but it requires everybody else to give everything to him, and he just gets in the right position or in the right moment, he can find his way, but he's not someone that does anything else. And I don't think he's good enough for that. But I do think that when you go through the numbers and you look through the list of players that's available, like, you could probably make an argument that right now Richarlison is like the 20th best striker in European football. And it's bonkers.
I could name 30 strikers better than this guy. Probably more.
Yeah, I know you can. I'm sure we both can. But my point is that, like, there's not that many, and we're at a point in time when there's so many clubs that need them, so many big clubs that.
If you can't see what Richarlison's doing, mate, you can F off Danny Emirates.
Oh, well, I might do. I might have to. But I do think it also brings you back to whether or not the right number for Harry Kane was 18, 90 million pound. You kind of think, actually,
considering these numbers he's put up in a Bayern Munich shirt already.
Yeah, should have been a little bit more.
22 goal contributions in 13 games.
Yeah.
We need to, before we wrap up, we need to make a video on who's winning the Champions League.
Yeah, we will.
So I've changed my mind.
Who was your previous answer?
Madrid.
Okay.
Now I think he's going to win it.
He's not going to win it. He's not even going to win the. He's not even going to win the Bundesliga. Leverkusen. If you can't see what Xabi Alonso's doing, mate, you can F off down the.
I will F off down I will F off down happily. I'll tell you what. We'll have a wager. We'll have a wager on another video. I'm saying Bayern. You can say whatever you want, but you can't say City. Because City's just pointless because, like, they're the favourites. We're doing it shamelessly, so we're choosing not the favourites.
I'll tell you what. The bet I'd rather have is you can have Bayern Munich to win the Bundesliga, and I'll take anybody else.
Deal.
All right. 20 quid.
You know they've got Dortmund tomorrow and all away, and he's bagging a hat-trick. I know another bet we are. Another wager. Or another prediction outcome that could choose some sort of significant bonus the other end. Right? Harry Kane will win the Golden Boot by 10 goals.
What, the Bundesliga Golden Boot?
Yeah. Bearing in mind, he's already 3 behind whatever his name is. Garazi or whatever his name is.
Garazi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet on that one. Oh, sorry. By 10 goals.
Yeah, by 10 goals.
Okay, I'll take that bet.
5 goals, I think, would be like...
No, 10 goals. 10 goals. 10 goals. You said it. You said 10 goals. I'll take that bet.
God, do Do you know who's doing really well? Who we should have looked at is Luis Openda, the Belgium number 9 who's playing at Leipzig.
Yeah,
Blistering pace, good finisher, can play on the left, can play on the right, can play through the middle. Right, come out of was at France playing for Lens. We should have snapped him up. He's got 8 goals, 2 assists in 9 games in the Bundesliga.
But you know what? This is one of the rationales why teams like Tottenham need to get on the multi-club ownership model, because as soon as you see a number 9 that's 17 years old that's doing anything, you buy them up and then you loan them back out to play to clubs within your network, because you know you can see it firsthand, the issue with demand and supply economics around number 9s. Like we didn't do it with Gift Orban. Santiago Jimenez was there last year. We didn't do it then. Everyone was talking about it. Now the guy's gone on and banged them. I think that Tottenham, every club needs to be keeping an eye on what's coming up, because number 9s are always in demand and always in short supply. I don't know if Kylian Mbappe is going to, just to round it off, I don't know. Do you think, what's the chances you think of Mbappe ending up at Liverpool? Do Liverpool even need Mbappe if they don't sell?
I actually think they've probably got one of the best forward lines in Europe. You think of
I think they have.
You think of Nunes, Salah, Jota, Gakpo, Elliott. I think Liverpool need a centre back and a midfielder. I think if he's mate, I don't know if he's going Madrid, but I'm going to say I don't think he's joining Liverpool. I don't think the German teams. I don't think Munich have got enough cash. Barcelona, they've basically become like the local flipping lady of the night. They're putting out they've got every sponsor going. You can get married in their stadium for 30 grand. Tottenham have got enough money, but there's no chance we'd break every single.
I don't think he ends up at Liverpool, mate. I just like the sequence of events that would have to materialize.
What about Saudi?
No, he won't go to Saudi.
They offered him 13 million euros a week, didn't they?
It was too early in his career. Unless he's just one of these guys, like, was it when Samuel Eto'o went to Russia?
He was like 33 by then. He was like 32, 33.
Exactly.
What about Neymar?
Mbappe's doing that.
What about Neymar? He was going to be Pele's son. He kind of broke onto the scene. Brazil's all-time top goal scorer. One of the only players to get nominated for the Pukas Award playing outside of Europe. He won the Pukas Award.
Would Neymar go to Saudi Arabia?
He's already at Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So what?
I'm talking about everyone. I feel like Neymar never really reached his potential. What he could have achieved on the football stage. Yes, he won a Champions League with part of the great.
How old is Neymar?
31, but he joined PSG to be the biggest star in the world, and then got outshone by a 19-year-old Kylian Mbappe. The point I'm making is Neymar never really reached his full potential in terms of what he won. We could see the same with Kylian Mbappe, because yes, he's won a World Cup, but he hasn't really dominated the club scene. And if the Saudi League put enough money on the table, there's certain points where you can say, look, if someone offers you 15 million euros a week, I don't care how much you love your trade and you're not doing this for money. There comes a point where you've got to think, hang on, 15 million euros a week, one season, my family, my family's family, my family's family would never, ever, ever have to worry again.
No, of course.
And Neymar's done the same.
I take that, but I think that option will still be there if you believe in the Saudi Arabian model and that it's not a here today, gone tomorrow.
Which I do.
Like
Big up Al Ali Saudi FC.
What's that?
I said, which I do, because I've got a Saudi Arabian team.
Which, by the way, we're going to be doing watch-alongs on Shameless for in a month or two's time. I'm picking my Saudi team very quickly.
Who's your team? You can't have Al Hilal.
No, I haven't.
Al Hilal was 7 points clear. Al Ali are on. We're in 5th.
I'm going to pick my team. And
do not support Ronaldo's team either. I'll tell you, should support Al Ittihad. They got Benzema, Kante.
Mate, I will pick my team in all good time. I'm not having you or anybody else telling me what my team is going to be. All right. Listen, Mbappe's not going to Saudi Arabia before the age of 28, 29. Right? He's gonna figure it out. He can make enough money in Europe, and he's got enough time on his side. He'd be bonkers too. He's already rich beyond his wildest dreams anyway. He's got enough time to get that lucky last payday at some point later. Does he go to Liverpool? I don't think it will materialize. I still think he will either re-sign at PSG or will end up at Real Madrid. I'll have a bet if you disagree. I don't think he'll go anywhere else. But the story was there. Thought I'd bring it up. Thought we'd bring it up. Do you believe he goes to Liverpool, or do you think he stays at PSG
he
or goes
doesn't go
to
to
Real?
Liverpool. I don't think he goes to Liverpool. I think he joins Real Madrid, and I think they go on to dominate football for the next decade with Jude Bellingham, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Rodrigo, Vinny Jr. It's one of the scariest 11s I think you will ever see. But we are going to wrap up.
Hey, if you can't see what Big Ange is doing down at the Tottenham, you're talking about scary 11s, mate. You can F off down anywhere else you want to go because
you can F off
Big
down
Ange
to the King Power Stadium down in the Championship, mate. But look, we are going to wrap up. Subscribe to Spurs Talk Show. Subscribe to Henry Wright TV. We'll be trying to put out a lot more content, 1 to 2 videos a day. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you are liking the videos. And we'll see you all soon. Thank you all for watching. We are